Ladies and gentlemen, George Condo. I mean, do I need to go through an introduction for our next guest? Because I think we all know him. He's a 7-time Super Bowl champion. He won the Fanatics games last year, the #1 player. Believes he's going to win this weekend as well. First player in NFL history to win a Super Bowl or NFL championship in 3 different decades. Ladies and gentlemen, the GOAT, that is Tom Brady. All right, listen, you know Tom's got 7 rings, but the guy who's got the current ring is really the king of New York. The #1 pick of the 2015 NBA draft, 7 seasons averaging 20 and 10, loves the card space like Tom and George, and he's an NBA champ, a current reigning NBA champ, Karl-Anthony Towns. The next guy doesn't need a ring, because every day he wakes up as a champion. And he's the reason why we're here. This came from his big, beautiful mind. Year 3 of Fanatics Fest, and it's only getting bigger and better. The founder and CEO of Fanatics, Michael Rubin. So this is really cool because I mentioned it briefly about how artwork plays such a big role and how we see things visually, what it means, and then the idea that you could blend it and connect to collecting small pieces of art, right? And George, your affiliation with this is so great in understanding, I think, for our audience that when they carry something, there's an emotional attachment to that piece of art. There's a memory, there's a connection that you have, maybe to an athlete, to a specific game, to a specific moment. I want to go down the line and start with you, Michael. How does greatness show up for you? Whether it's day to day, whether it's what you're doing down the road, whether it's what you're planning down the road.
Look, I think it's putting everything you got into whatever you do. Whether it's on the field, on the court, into your art, your trading cards. You just got to give it everything you got and more. And that's what you got in these 3 guys. They're unrelenting in their crafts. And by the way, they all overlap because, you know, incredible athletes other than George and I, you know, but all giant collectors here. And so authentic to have, you know, greatness, you know, on the court, on the field, but also showing up in collectibles here.
Tom, why don't you take it away? What does greatness mean to you, considering also what you do on a daily life and experience? You're such a competitor. How do you measure greatness?
Well, I've been very fortunate. First of all, thank you for having me up here, and great to be with you guys, everyone here at Fanatics Fest, who's showing out. This whole event is for you guys. To have all these athletes come out, all these incredible games, food places to go, for kids, for everybody, for all the teams. We all look forward to being here because it's not often that we get to be up here this close with you guys. So I hope you get the ability to see us. We would sit out in that crowd at one point. If Fanatics Fest was going on when I was a lot of you teenagers, your age, my ass would have been in those seats too. So the fact that I get to be up here is really an honor. And a lot of the reason why I'm here is because I was very fortunate to find something that I love, the sport of football. And with myself and with all the teammates that I played with over a long period of time, we found a deep love for the game, a deep commitment to what we were doing, and we wanted to win for each other. So much about what I think greatness is, and I was able to be around so many great players, is they truly, and businessmen, and entrepreneurs, and artists, and what they do is you're always redefining yourself. You're always finding new ways to be a little bit better. We all started sitting in this crowd. I was 13, I was 14, I was 15. I was not some, crazy prodigy athlete at 15. I had to improve. I had to improve my skill set. I had to be a better son. I had to be a better athlete. I had to be better in school. I went to college. I tried to be a little bit better. We won our first Super Bowl in 2001. I was not a finished product. I still had a long way to go. And I try to continue to adapt my game, to learn from other people, realizing that the competition is always coming for you. There's competition every day in life. That's the beautiful part about life. If you find something you love to do and you're committed to it, that's amazing, but there's a lot of other people who are committed to it too. So a lot of times you gotta go above and beyond what other people aren't willing to do if you wanna be great. If you wanna be good, you can do what everyone else does. If you wanna be great, you better work a little harder. You better be a little more disciplined. You better be a little more committed to your goals, and all of your actions and your priorities should reflect those goals. And George has done that. He continues to redefine himself. The guy to my far right, Michael, there's very few people in my life that I've ever met that continue to wake up every day. And Fanatics has done amazing things since the day it got started. But where it's at and where is it going is the only place that Michael thinks about. He's continuing to think about how do we make this experience better for the fans, the teams, the leagues, the spectators, every single day. And KAT just won his first ring, but I already know he's thinking about the next one, and it's going to be a lot harder for him. He doesn't know this yet, but to get number 2 is a lot harder than get number 1. But guess what? To get number 2 is even more gratifying than getting number 1, and that's what it's all about.
No pressure, KAT. Oh, what you got in front of you, and the idea of getting to that mountain for the first time, what was that like for you, that experience, that, again, 7 years in the league, figuring it out, finding your way, and then coming to New York, and then changing everything in your career?
I mean, it was the highest honor I've ever had. To be able to play in front of these fans, be able to have their love and support, most importantly, their respect, and stepping on that court and finding a way to get that championship is something that can't be explained, but just like he says, the feeling was short-lived. I know the fans keep coming up to me and telling me congrats champ, and keep saying the word champ and everything, but in my mind, I'm only thinking about the next one. So that's all that's been on my mind, that's all that I think about. Even when I saw Tom earlier in this month, I told him, asked him right away, how do you get that next one? That's all I could ask about was the next one. How do I get that next one? We had that moment after the game, we celebrated the trophy, the champagne, it was awesome. But even for me, the work was not done. As soon as we landed back in New York, the next day I was back in the gym. I was already working out, getting ready for the next season, because that's the most important thing now in my mind.
Well said.
Thank you. Thanks, Michael, for having this whole thing going on. KAT, Tom, all the fans out there. Greatness, for me, it's about longevity. We're just talking about. It's about influence. It's about influencing kids to get up and work hard, to do what they gotta do to make it. It's about, how you can be influential in the future to kids, inspirational, and future artists to realize you work every day really hard at what you do, you build your craft, you make it alive. The idea of art is that it stays alive when you're done painting it. And it just gotta vibrate, it's just gotta be live on a wall. And that's what greatness is. If your work is not alive and kicking, then it's not that exciting. These guys are alive and kicking when they get out there, and they know how to do it, man. And it's inspirational to me. I look at that kind of energy, I look at that kind of determination, and I think that's what painting is for me. And it's determination, it's about longevity, it's about legacy, it's about keeping this stuff alive for the future generations.
Well said, too. And you talk about the idea of longevity. Tom understands that. And you got to reinvent yourself, too, along the way, right? In that process. This worked here, this doesn't work here, I'm going to reinvent myself. Because when you look, I looked at the cards. I mean, they are small art pieces. You can see the paintbrush drying on these cards. It's gorgeous, and with that, it sets up perfectly. Let's roll the video and let the audience get a chance to see some of these pieces of artwork, these masterpieces, George.
Yeah, keep in mind, they're the craziest cards you've ever seen. I'm George Condo. I am a painter from New York City. I was a complete maniac collecting baseball cards. All these kids are just crazy about sports. They collect cards, but how many of them are aware of the world of collecting art? I thought within certain packs of the Topps cards, we'll have literally real drawings. We're making a statement with these cards that these cultures are both intertwined. It's unscripted, it's completely natural, and that's the way art is. The facial expressions and the sort of body language of them is so painterly. It's organized aggression, and it requires that kind of aggression. For me, it's really thrilling. It was extremely challenging painting that miniature. At one point, I had a jeweler's lens to be able to get into the detail. I used to stare at my cards and look at the picture and imagine the player. They're not just copies of the players. They're catching the spirit of my painting and capturing the spirit of the player themselves. You're getting a psychological viewpoint from the painter to the sports player. I created a Condo collection for the idea of introducing kids in the stadium to art and to integrate the idea of art and sports together. The legacy of these cards will belong to not only the sports culture, but to the arts culture.
Amazing. Again, 19 cards. And I got 2 of them in my hand right now.
Goosebumps, man.
And let's unveil them to Tom and KAT.
This is a reveal. I was not expecting this.
Woo!
I'm just saying, Tom and KAT, you shouldn't even bid on these. No.
Can you do this for the audience too, boys? The camera's right there. Can you show them so everybody can see what they look like? There we go. George, these are literally masterpieces, one of ones, and on the back, you've got stats on them and your autograph. When you thought about designing these for Tom and KAT, what was going through your mind for each individual?
I was thinking when I was a kid, you know, I used to go to bed at night and I'd spend every penny I had for my paper route. I would collect baseball and football cards, and I just look at them at night and think this was my introduction, believe it or not, to the visual language, was looking at sports cards. And now I'm actually painting them. I'm painting these guys. They're like, you know, when you grow up, you're a kid, you're like that superheroes in, you know, Superman right here, you know? Yeah, and I'm so psyched about it. I'm so psyched to bring this to the audience and to make the craziest cards that ever exist, because there's a million photographs of them in action playing, you know, illustrations, but I wanted to do something that was original. Something that was like that same kind of feeling of you gotta get out there, you gotta make moves, like the moves he had to make with the Falcons, you know, it's like sitting there, I don't know, 23 points behind, going like, we gotta make some moves here. Think the Knicks on that last game, it was insane, you know? If you're a painter, you gotta make those kind of moves, you gotta win the card.
Yeah.
You guys gotta win the game. Incredible. I'm psyched, man.
You know, I just want to say one thing. When I look at these cards, like you really see, like one of the things we want to do at Fanatics is take all the things from the art world that we can learn and bring them to the trading card and collectibles industry. And to me, you know, bringing real pieces of art to collectibles is just such a great way of converging these worlds together. So, George, I'm pumped that you got your first 19. You know, are we talking about who the other athletes that you did? Maybe tell a few of the stories of who else you did. We got By the way, today at 6 p.m., Messi is in the house. Did you do a Messi?
Whoa.
Which, by the way, pretty insane. FIBA's doing the press conference here, and Messi's in the building at 6 p.m. Talk about the Messi card that you made, what it means to you to have him in the biggest football match of his life on Sunday night, and having made that card. We need that Messi card, by the way. We gotta. Where is that Messi card? But security has to stop. I may leave with those 2 cards and the Messi card.
You can do whatever you want.
I can't tell you how proud I am to have been able to paint that card. You know, Messi's another hero. And it's like, he's the best in the business. He's the guy that plays the soccer leagues, you know? And so it's like, just doing that card, knowing that I'm painting these cards. You know, I tell you, the reality is my introduction to visual language was literally through trading cards. Looking at these things, and then it translated somehow into my love for painting and my love of imagery. And, you know, doing these guys, and also I want to make them laugh. You know, I want to make them look at these cards, put a smile on their face, you know? Make it more than just your average everyday thing.
George, it's working though. Seeing the smile on Tom and Kat's face. What's your first reaction when you saw the card? I noticed a small detail. It says 7 times 7X immediately there.
Very cool, and I've obviously been a big fan of George as well. I've actually been to his studio here in New York and blown away by what I've seen there. And I was just thinking it's so cool. You said something earlier, Ken, we're all artists in our own way. And I think the point, I obviously can't do any of that. That's like 0% by my skill set is that. But we all kind of in our own way see things like an artist. You know, I always feel like a quarterback goes on the field and he is a blank canvas of what he wants to create. And the offensive coordinator gets to create what he wants to create. And everyone does it a little bit different. And if you're a copycat, I think people see through that pretty quick. You steal other people's ideas. If you can really form your own opinion, your own judgment, your own point of view, and see things the way you want to see it, how you can create it, you know, that pulls out kind of the creativity in all of us. And I think it's so cool for an artist like George, after all these years, you know, he has an incredible genius in his brain. He sees this just white canvas, and what is he going to do with it? And what is he going to show the world? And how can he express what's in his mind? But to see it come out on a trading card, which is what's been a part of my life for 4 decades, absolutely blows my mind. So these are going to be insane when they hit the market.
By the way, Kevin, how do we get the other cards out here? Where's the Messi card? If anyone from Tom's
I haven't seen it.
I want to see the Messi card.
I know one person who has it, but he's not here right now.
Right.
And the Serena one is incredible.
certainly
The
not
Serena
big.
one is a beautiful, piece of art. It's like a Mona Lisa. I love the Serena
So
one.
who was your favorite one that you did, putting you on the spot? And don't say all of them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I gotta say, Pat and Tom, card, I'm not just saying it because they're here, you know, but I did love making those 2 cards. And I love doing the one of Kat because when they won, you know, with all the confetti, the blue and orange, put it all around it, and it was kind of like a George Seurat, you know, with the pointillism, which is a thing in art. And Tom's is like a crazy cubist type composition. He's wearing a Tampa Bay and a Patriots outfit
Yes.
at the same time. And I love doing Messi because, and also I love Beckham. The Beckham card was insane, and that was really cool. And I love doing Serena.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson, I think, too.
Yeah, I did a Jazz.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be a hot card. Kat, what was your reaction as you stare at it multiple times?
I just can't believe that one of the best artists to ever touch a paintbrush painted me, and especially on my biggest moment. So, in my career, so I'm honored, I'm blessed. I think this is going to be one of those trading cards we talk about for a long time, and I keep getting, if I can take a step back, we keep talking about the athletes, we keep talking about Messi with me and Tom Brady up here, so but we keep talking about the athletes, we haven't even gotten to the entertainers that are also in this launch as well with you, and we have
Jay-Z, right? You have a
one of the
Jay-Z
biggest
one?
ones. I did a Jay-Z has one as well.
I did Steph Curry, LeBron.
Serena Williams. I think all of New York wants that JV one.
I think, by the way, of the 19 people you did, I believe 10 are in the building for Fanatics Fest.
Yes.
Wow.
And by the way, it's actually 11 because we didn't know Messi was coming until about 1 hour ago. So now we got 11 of the 19.
11 of the 19.
And I want you, George, I want to put you on the spot. If he wins another championship, does he get the 20th card? How does it work? Like, is each championship for the Knicks get a new card? How does it work?
Why not?
All right, let's go. For the Knicks fans, you win again, we get another George Condo card.
Yeah, I think Topps needs to come out with a Knicks commemorative Topps edition. You know what I'm trying to say? I think the fans here in New York would love that.
Yeah, by the way, also, I want to remind everybody, 19 cards, and these one-of-ones are going to be released in Topps products. Some of these cards early in the fall, so keep an eye on that. A round of applause for these guys. Thank you. The great artists. That is George, Tom Brady, Karl-Anthony Towns, Michael Rubin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.